Hey, friends, and welcome to your Daily Detroit for Wednesday, February 26th, 2025. I'm J.R. Stays, and today's topic, where entrepreneurship intersects with sustainability. Be Reworn is a Detroit-based community platform connecting people interested in sustainability, fashion, and lifestyle. Today, we talk with their founder about why Detroit, what the goal is, and her way forward. It's interesting stuff. Before we get started, we are up for Our Detroit's Best Podcast in 2025. Head on over to Our Detroit. Voting is free. It'd be much appreciated. Let's hop into that conversation. Joining me here at the studio at Techtown is Sam Cerwin. She is the co-founder of Be Reworn, a business and startup right here from Detroit. Welcome to Daily Detroit. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
I'm excited too because there's so many things that, I get pitches about some technology website or something, but I like that this has a very practical purpose around clothing and swapping and being useful for people. So let's talk about what is Be Reworn?
Yes, so we connect communities to sustainability. I think it's easier for people to think of us as Eventbrite for sustainability. You can either come and host events, create them, or you can come and find them. This helps you to find either to meet people who is passionate about the same things as you are, or to find more accessible options to clothing, just to find something to do on the weekends. It's really very community based, and we're just trying to support sustainability and keep access to people to affordable things.
So when you talk about sustainability, what kind of events are those that go under that bucket?
Yeah, so right now there's 4 categories on the side. There are clothing swaps, community meetups, those are my favorite, closet sales, and upcycling workshops. And actually, now that I'm talking through this, we just added one that is for any other type of swaps because people is swapping more than clothes now.
What drew you to swaps in general? Because I know a lot of people that are really into it. It feels like there's an emotional connection to them.
Yeah, the thing is you can, first of all, you can bring 10 items and choose another 10 items to bring home for one single price. You don't have to per item. And then I think the community thing where after COVID, people became really shy. And some of them had a lot of social anxiety and it's hard to make friends. So when you go to these events and people are passionate about the same things, it feels more natural to start a conversation or to say hi to someone. So I think that's what people loves.
I think that's an important point, and I hadn't thought about it, but I think you're right because my experience with events, I've been going to events for 20 years, before COVID and after, and there is a marked difference. I'm one of those maybe annoying people who'll be like, hey, I'm Jer, how are ya? Kind of wear colorful shirts, always be, but I've realized after COVID, people are not as much into that anymore. And it's definitely been a shift for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I always tell I'm not an extrovert, but I'm not an introvert, just something in the middle. And there's a lot of people that are just like that. Either they need the first approach or they want to make the first approach. But definitely it's been proved that when people have something in common, it's just easier to break the ice.
So why put together a tech platform for this part of the sustainable world?
Yeah, there's all these events previously when I was going to them or trying to find them, either you have to get an ad for it or see a poster or a flyer, someone has to tell you about them. And it was this cannot be it because it's cool when you're already part of the community and the people who's hosting these type of things. But as an outsider who was trying to embrace a more sustainable journey and you want to start in your closet, how do you find about these events? So that's what I thought. There has to be a main hub, a main platform for community to come together.
So you're based in Detroit, but you have hubs around the country and not just in the United States.
Yeah, so when we launched, users starting to find out about it in multiple cities. They started to create events, and it's been crazy. We're super grateful for that. It is just so amazing how to see now people gets together to swap books or furniture or cookware or things like that. It's great.
what are some of the things that you have learned starting this in Detroit of all places?
You know what? First of all, when I moved here, I didn't know that it was like such a strong feeling for community. And that is something that I love about Detroit. Like people is super supportive and they will like jump on board and like will help you or like they will tell you who to talk to. So, I mean, right now there's so many like talent as designers and we try to support that too, like with these upcycling workshops where like small designers can teach other people how to fix their clothes or how to make them look prettier so they can keep wearing them for longer. So definitely the design aspect of the city is just great.
Yeah, you've spent some time in some other cities. So that community aspect is greater here, you're saying.
Yeah, I think it's like Detroit has a very strong feeling for community. Absolutely.
And what brought you to Detroit?
I got married.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, my husband is from here.
Oh, very cool. So, well, welcome for sure, for sure. One of the things off air we were mentioning was you do some work in the femology space. How important has that been? And tell people a little bit about it.
Yeah, I think being part of New Lab, it's like great. Just you know how like you feel supported when people is doing the same things as you do, even if you don't talk to them. Like I think that's been great, and just like all the resources. Sometimes they have panels, they have the like educational like type of things, and it's just great to see other like founders doing their own thing and build connections.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about the Reworn platform a little bit. How does it work for those who have never been there before? I encourage people to go. It's simply bereworn.com.
Yeah.
But you land there. What do you want people to do?
So there is a section where you can go either to find or create events. So it's very simple. We'll let you know what type of events people are hosting, date, place. You can select what brands and sizes you're bringing and the amount of items you're going to swap. And this is super important because sometimes if you go to a swap and it's for like all sizes welcome, there is no guarantee that you will find something, right? And it's very disappointing for the user if they bring like 20 pieces and then they don't find anything for them and someone already took your pieces. So in this way, we can let you choose your event based on what sizes people are bringing. So we can like give you a guarantee that you're most likely going to find something.
Now, if you're hosting an event, then how does it work?
I will say like on the side, you only need to put the place, the hour. Event creation right now is free. You can like let people know if you have any preferences on the items that you're going to bring or if there's any like special requirements. But I will say, I would like to think that it's very simple. If you are charging for your tickets, we use Stripe so you can get all the money like right to your account.
So you can handle some of the ticketing side of things as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then as a host, you also get an access to manage your data. Like you can see some of the demographics or the people who are bringing to your event in case you have marketing like strategies or something you want to test later.
Where have you found that people have been discovering your platform the most?
Instagram, absolutely.
Really?
So
Okay.
Gen Z and millennials are like there are our target market right now. Gen Z are just like very passionate about sustainability and they're trying to find more and more resources to do the grow their community.
Now, you're a bit of I don't want to say, I hate to use these words, but like a younger founder yourself, right? We were talking off air, you're in your 20s. What are some of the things that you have learned in this journey?
You know what? I have this thing where when I turn 28, I'm going to do these things. And like I try to plan ahead, and being a founder, I understand that it's good to have milestones, but I also have to live in the present. Patience and just dedication are some of the things that I learned a lot in the past year, and that sleep is important.
Yes, it is. As also somebody who runs something that is so important. If you are running from an empty cup, you don't have the ability to pour it out to anybody else.
Yes, last year I got like so tired. I was going to bed at 3 a.m. I was like, because if I work more, I'm going to get more done. But that's a complete lie.
Well, at some point, it just starts to fade off.
Exactly.
Maybe that's something I've learned as I've gotten older, is that things start to fade off at a certain point where you're just not as effective anymore. And you just need to hit the reset button and say, another thing I think I've learned is about prioritization, because if everything's an emergency, nothing's an emergency.
No, absolutely. I feel like either like when you're well rested, you're just ready to go. In your brain, it's like picking up things faster and you're actually getting things done.
So what are some of your thoughts for growing the platform? I mean, it's really cool that this thing is up. It's cool that you can go to it. What's your vision? I know it's a big question, but what would, in a perfect world for Sam, what does this look like?
I want to be the platform that people think of when either they're trying to start or continue or just push their sustainable journey. Like it doesn't matter what stage or your sustainability journey you are, like you can come to our platform. I think either if it's to meet new people, like you want to get access to clothing. Like I think something very important people sometimes don't realize is clothing is not something superficial. Like I see people wearing clothing every day. It's a need. And sometimes the economy aspect of like the fashion industry, it's something really important to keep in mind. Not everyone can afford clothing, and like the fashion industry, just as we know, like the fast fashion, especially, like it's a huge, like it's the second biggest polluter in the world. The human rights are just, like I don't think there even exist on the conditions they work on. So these type of events allow young professionals, students, people to get access to the clothing they like for a cheaper price.
I was recently at an event with Creative Mornings where the design director of Carhartt was there. And one of the things about Carhartt is that it lasts a long time. And I think about that with fashion and all the things that I buy. It saddens me to buy something that just wears out after a few wearings or just starts to get dingy. And I think the idea of the swap is really appealing because you do want to shift things up. You do want to change things up. I understand the appeal of fast fashion, to be very honest with you. I do, because you have that ability to be like, oh, I'm just going to spend a little bit of money and I'm going to have a new look. But if you're doing a swap, or if you're being more sustainable, or if you're, whether it's swaps, or I even think about reusing containers for soap and for other things, ways that we can have a lower impact, but still have the joy. I don't think that the only way to joy is through capitalism.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel also like clothing swaps, especially with technology involved, is saving you time, because sometimes going to a thrift store, it's too intimidating because people feels like they have to spend a long time trying to find one thing. So through technology, through what we're doing, you can see that it's going to be your size. You can see some of the styles because we're about to add like a preview closet so users can see what items people are bringing.
Oh, talk about that a little bit. So why do you want to do that? That's interesting.
So right now, like we identify that there are people who are very passionate and like they bring the best out of their closet. And there are people who will bring their old shorts or like gym stuff that like they don't even wear anymore. So when you get to the event, that is just not fair, right? Because sometimes people who wear the less appealing clothing, they are the ones to choose the best. So with this preview closet, users are going to be like able to see, okay, so if everyone is bringing these type of things, I really want to post the things I'm bringing. And then the host of the event has more control too, because they can approve or not approve your items. It like has a lot of flexibility. And I think it just makes the things faster and more transparent to everyone.
I'll be vulnerable here for a moment, that I'm a big man, and it is hard for me sometimes to use swaps or go thrifting. Like I just don't fit in a lot of stuff. So it would actually be useful to be like, oh, that is actually like a 2XB or a 3, like whatever it is, to know what those things are. Because oftentimes, anytime I've gone to something like that, my biggest thing is I've only been able to find some sort of accessory because I'm tall. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things. I'm not an off-rack guy.
Yeah, no. And I feel like, completely agree. Like there are people now that are doing swaps for specific sizes too. So these like helps people like also to save time, because it's like I said, it's discouraging when you go and spend all the time and you bring out the best and then you leave empty-handed.
Yeah, somebody should do a big man swap.
Yeah, I've been wanting to, like sometimes my husband will find like some things once in there, but like I think men are more shy about coming like to these like type of events. Actually, like the 90% of our users are women.
Of course. I know that I am in the small minority of people willing to do that, but I'm the kind of person that I'll try anything once. I'll go anywhere. I think that's part of the joy of living in the world, is having a bit of an adventurous spirit. even if something isn't necessarily for you, that's okay. It's to have experienced it, right? The joy is in the experiencing.
Absolutely no. And I've been wanting to like do like a min swap and maybe like to do a record swap on the side so it like feels more appealing to them. Like there's not just clothes. So definitely like I'll be interested in hearing your insights on that. I want to bring it to life.
I want to hear from listeners about this. dailydetroit@gmail.com or leave me a voicemail, 313-789-3211. I think there's a lot of ways to look at it, and I always am glad to highlight local people doing cool stuff and really having what really looks like a bigger vision for not just being based in Detroit, but something that could be bigger that I think the whole country could use.
Absolutely. And just coming back like to the community aspect of it, right now we're getting ready for Fashion Revolution Week, which is to bring awareness of the fashion like industry, how your clothes are being made. And we are bringing a lot of designers involved, and we're trying to create a series of events for Earth Day week. So if everyone is interested on coming like lead an event or volunteering or something like that, we're more than welcome to have them.
Sam Cerwin, co-founder of Be Reworn, thank you so much for stopping by the studio. It's so great to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me. This means a lot.
Thanks for listening. Thanks to our members. We don't get paid by our guests to highlight interesting local things happening in our community. So we need your support. Get swag, get access to our member Discord and more. Patreon.com/DailyDetroit. That's Patreon.com/DailyDetroit. I'm Jared Stays. Until tomorrow, remember that you are somebody, and I'll see you around Detroit.